Thank you so much, Prashant, for joining us on a podcast at Dawdle. We're extremely grateful to be hosting you, and we'll take this opportunity to gather as much as experience as possible from your experience so far, which will help a lot of industry leaders in similar domains who watch our podcast to gain
Mm-hmm.
insight from senior industry leaders from across the globe. We welcome you again. Before we come to the topics, just to give a context to our audience, if you could take us to your journey so far, your experience, that would be great.
Thank you very much, Rishikesh. So I am really very much happy to be on this particular show. So I'll just introduce myself. So I am Prashant Dave. So I am a working professional for last 20 years now. And I would say my entire total journey or the work experience has been around data management. So I have started my journey as an MIS officer, then slowly graduated in that same field, slowly started converting into data management, then data engineering, and even the visualization expert, and now I'm slowly enhancing in the areas of data science. So, and I have worked across different industries. I have worked across banking, I have worked across e-com, shipping. So maybe the industries are different,
Yes.
but the work profile or the job profile has always remained the same.
That is
Yeah.
that is there.
So that is, I would say, a short description or a short highlight about myself.
That's a very unique profile because it's very difficult to get a leader with around 20 years of experience into the data domain, especially in India.
Yeah.
Uh, so we'll start with the first one, actually, is that you have covered a lot of industries like finance, e-commerce, logistics,
I
retail.
have.
Yes. And looking back, if you look back, how has the role of data in basically decision making evolved over the past 1 decade?
I would actually say more than the role, maybe the quantum of data has been increased. So initially, if I just try to see my initial job or my initial work, so while I was actually working as an MIS officer, usually all our data related activity or decision related activity was revolving just around a couple of Excel files. But now, if I see, we actually have a tons of data with us, which is not in GBs or TBs. It is actually in petabytes. Initially, we used to analyze just a couple of Excel files in KBs, but now the entire thing has been grown up to petabytes. So the quantum of data has increased so much. So the visibility towards the insights of the data and even the decisioning power, which is more data oriented, has been changed entirely. I would really say that. So the type of tools we used to use earlier, the type of platforms we used to work earlier, that has also changed entirely. And now slowly the type of AI or the type of ML which is actually kicking in, that has actually changed the game.
So you talked about change and, so what are those challenges which are involved in scaling data platforms, especially for BFSI organizations, where you told that, you are dealing with millions and billions of customers and transactions every day?
With respect to challenges, definitely the quantum actually brings the different data sets and different data types. So so now the data doesn't just is available in the structured format. In today's area, the data is available in any format, though it be images, though it be files, though it be tables, though it be audios, videos, anything and everything can be converted into data in today's time. So when we are converting this thing, bringing standardization across everything is one of the big challenge which major of the people actually faces. And in before bringing up the standardization on whatever data we have, so right now in different industries, so in current industries, people actually focus more on having quick decisions.
Yes.
Right. So before standardizing data, if people go and take quick decisions, so that is a kind of a challenge which company actually faces. Maybe after taking up the decisions.
Yes.
So initially they should have actually standardized all the things initially, and then think about it, thought about it, and then take a decision. But before doing that, they run in taking quick decisions. So that is one of the common challenge what I basically see people in different industry do. Slowly and steadily, the revolution is coming in this area where people are now understanding that handling and understanding big data sets actually requires time. Though it is manual interpretation or an AI interpretation, it will take time to understand anything first before taking any type of decisions.
So structuring is one of the biggest challenge.
Structuring and standardization is one of the biggest challenge, which I have actually observed.
And Prashant, also data comes from different sources as well. So plugging in all these sources and making
Absolutely, because as I said that the datas are available in different types. The sources are definitely different. So if we have some physical files, initially all Excel files and CSV files, what we used to actually work on. So those are considered as structured in today's time. Whereas in my time, when I just talk about 15 years back or 16 years back, even if a column changes, we used to call it that the data is not correct.
Yes. Right.
Yeah. So that
And the
entire
boss used
scope
to
has changed.
and it used to become an important matter inside the meeting as well. Like
Absolutely.
different different.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even I do remember at some point of time, even when we used to send our reports
Yes.
to our seniors, even if the color used to get changed in one of the report, oh, you have sent me a wrong report. Well, I'm sorry. The report is right, but only the red color is not available.
Right. Now, on top of it, Prashant, since you talked about structuring and structuring of data, how do you see these modern BI and reporting tools which are coming in the market? Are they solving challenge? Are there gaps?
I would say all the new BI tools which are available right now. Say, if I just want to name a couple of them, one is the Tableau, the other is Click. I would say one of the AWS service, which is also known as QuickSight. So these are the BI tools which has actually democratized the data insights. So initially we used to have a specific skill set of person who was actually performing all the visualization part. But right now with this particular tool, even a basic guy can actually try to bring insights out of the raw data by just dragging and dropping it, by aggregating couple of values, and any person can actually understand those things. So the BI has actually played an important role, no doubt. So anyone and any person can actually view that particular insights. And the BI team, or not the BI team, but the BI tool also has one of the very good feature, which is called as the data governance, where we can actually restrict our data, which can be used by any other people. Now, suppose if I just take an example of showing any revenue numbers or sales numbers to different regions. So BI tool itself has that particular functionality where the other people are restricted towards the data which from the other regions. So such kind of thing, such kind of arrangement or such kind of governance, a person doesn't need to think about it. It is directly available in that BI tool. So this thing has actually brought a very big change, I would say, and even it is really helpful.
Because this is where I was actually coming to, because access management is very critical, especially when we are dealing with, I think, data protection and data sanctity.
Absolutely, absolutely, and the way how now this DPDPA rule, which is actually kicking in, which is actually now this particular act is actually going to take the data privacy to a next level, where any person's data with company needs to be handled in more careful way. And initially, the persons, now suppose if I'm a person, my data is with any XYZ company. The company used to be the owner of my particular data, but now with this particular act, I will be having the power to tell that company, please erase my data. Since I'm not your customer, my data should not be available with you. So all this privacy, all this governance will actually come to a greater extent, and this will be taken up more seriously in this coming days.
Yes. And there were guys also, who used to cross use the data. Like if you talk about a lot of recruitment platforms, one of the
Mhm.
use cases that I saw is that they are used for hiring, but a lot of companies are using the platform to collect data of senior leadership so that they can, kind of attack them for sales calls or marketing calls, whatever it is.
Mostly for cross sell.
For cross sell, exactly. So that,
Mostly for
with
that
this.
will be definite. That will be avoided. Ideally, as per data governance principles, as per data governance standards, this thing should be restricted. So things should be restricted, but it was not monitored.
Yes.
It was assumed that the things are restricted, but while actually understanding that the things are not, so such kind of or the such kind of gaps has increased to a greater extent now. Just to bring a more monitoring mechanism on this, such kind of things are coming up.
Yes, yes. And while I was talking to that recruitment platform, what they told is that our platform doesn't sell for this much money for hiring. It actually sells because it helps them in lead generation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. And the people from different places or from different era actually reach out to such kind of companies that
Yes.
you please provide me this data. In exchange, we will do XYZ things for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
So data is actually very, very, very important. The way it is important, even the misuses of the data is also on that same lines.
And now, related to this data security, there is a question that goes on is that with all these ransomware and cyber threats on rise, what do you suggest, should be the measures that organization should have in place in order to, protect against all these data breaches and cyber security attacks?
I will, means basis on my experience and basis on my opinion, what I feel is that in every company, so there are two departments which actually exist. So the one is basically the compliance, and the other department is the risk. So ideally, these two departments actually need to be taken up very seriously in, or whatever guidelines have been set up by these two teams needs to be strictly adhered by each and every department, be it IT, be it HR, be it finance, be it operations, marketing, anything. So because they actually set the true guidelines which are set up by these super regulatory bodies. If I talk about the finance industry, definitely the RBI. If I talk about broking industry, definitely by SEBI. If I talk about telecom, definitely by TRI. So they actually set up these certain guidelines which ensures that your data is actually protected and it is trusted by your customers also. So adhering that those principles have been followed up by each and every department is very useful here.
But whatever they do, they will not follow, that. So can there be some mechanism, tools, automations which can be put in place?
So I think so the DPDPA Act, which is coming up, that will actually ensure that all these things have been taken up. So initially, so that is actually the true external body, and all the audits and compliance thing needs to be adhered very, very, very rigorously now. Because right now, the way, if I talk about finance industry, if I talk about BFSI domain, so all the operations and audit are as per RBI.
Okay.
Agreed. But now the entire data privacy and the governance part will be as per DPDPA. So I would say this is actually a good thing which is coming up,
Yes.
which will enforce everyone to follow right things.
Yes.
Which ideally should be been followed.
And this will also give birth to a lot of startups who are operating in this space. Like.
Absolutely, yes. Right now, even in my observation, there are a couple of my friends who have actually thought about opening their own startup in the areas of this data governance monitoring part, not the data governance piece, but data governance monitoring. Basis on all those DPDPA guidelines and basis on all the guidelines of data privacy, they will provide the report to the respective companies which are associated with them, and that entire report will actually show all the gaps and the severity of those gaps. So this is going to give birth to many couple of new startups, and couple of startups I know my friends who would be going in.
And this is genuine problem solving, because in cybersecurity also, I see a lot of platforms who first of all do an analysis of the existing system and tell you what are the threats, like what are the threats that will come up.
Yes.
They call it something like screening or something like that.
They do that even in networking, or even when the IT people actually host their application. So there is one of the tests which is called as VAPT, which is actually vulnerability accessibility test, something like that. So that gives the output as CHML, critical, high, medium, low. How many gaps are opened as critical, high, medium, and low. So
but
there
are leaders, but a lot of leaders tell that ki 50-60% गलत हो जाता है,
क्योंकि उनको मॉनिटर करने के लिए कोई है नहीं. मैं वही कहा ना, मतलब दिस इज गोइंग टू बी अ न्यू पेरेंट फॉर ऑल द चाइल्ड. अब जब फादर बोलेंगे तो बच्चे को करना ही है, ये वैसी चीज होगी.
Now the next one is on like the sensitive financial data, which is constantly under threat. What role do you see encryption, access control, and zero trust architecture play in securing customer information?
Maybe majority of my answers will be aligned to DPDPA, because और क्यों हो रहा है मैं ये भी बता रहा हूँ, because in last 3 months we have been involved in such kind of discussions to such a greater extent that whatever pipeline. So I am actually working as a data engineer, so I head the data engineering unit. So whatever pipelines we do, whatever data we have, so all the information needs to be encrypted. All the PII information, means the personal identity information, needs to be encrypted. It needs to be hashed, whatever the things are, that which is actually not visible at all. So right now, if we talk about fraudsters, or if we talk about black hat hackers, so these are firms or organizations who are actually sitting outside just to take an opportunity of entering any portal or any organization in an illegal way and try to misuse the data. So such kind of encryption part will actually ensure, even by any chance, if such kind of situation occurs, the data is encrypted in a way that even that is not going to help anyone outside. So this actually play a very, very, very important role. And right now we have around terabytes of information stored here and there everywhere. So we have actually taken up all this exercise to just encrypting all the PII related information. So this is again aligning to the DPDPA thing. And why this is important? It is important in this particular way, that why this particular, in case if the data gets misused, it is not useful for anyone who ever have it, because they won't be able to get any insights out of it.
And do you also stop the employees from logging in or signing up on any platform with the official mail ID?
We do. So we have one of our team, which is actually the information security team, InfoSec team, where each and every logins which basically happens are getting monitored. So wherever, suppose if I log in any of the third party application, I actually get all the email verification links, such kind of thing. So all the mailboxes and all such kind of emails, the corporate emails, are actually scanned and are actually monitored by the IT team, just to ensure that as per our adherence, as per our policies, person is not liable to use any of the official ID in any third party platform. So if such kind of thing comes, they actually have the escalation metrics which will report this kind of incident to InfoSec team and also to the relevant managerial hierarchies.
Because I've seen a lot of people will, log into chat GPT kind of apps with their official mail ID.
Yeah. Yes. So we have something here in our organization where I don't know how, but they have implemented it. Suppose if I'm using ChatGPT, whatever prompt I write, I will be able to write it, but I won't be able to copy paste anything. I won't be able to paste anything on that ChatGPT window.
Got it.
Which is one of the important things.
Yes.
Second thing, suppose if I'm just imagine मैं control C दबा रहा हूँ या command C दबा रहा हूँ, command C काम नहीं कर रहा है. It is such a miraculous thing.
Right. And it's also great to see that how India has transitioned from control C to command C.
No, because I sometimes find it very difficult कि कोई जगह पे मुझे command C करना है, कोई जगह control C करना है. बच्चों के system पे control C चलता है, वैसा है.
Now the next one is around, so BFSI has been very close to your heart. You have invested a considerable amount of time there.
Yeah.
And there is a strict oversight from regulators like RBI, SEBI, DPDPA, as you were talking about. What approaches do you recommend for ensuring continuous compliance while managing massive data volumes?
In this case, I would recommend the things which have been implemented in our organization. And after doing multiple discussions with everyone, so I will actually just let you know a couple of things which we have implemented here. So the one is basically frequent, regular audit checks. So that is point number one. Point number two is basically the data discoverability. So we have our dashboard. So we have our in-house dashboards which we have created, which actually traverse through all the databases, whether it is on cloud, whether it is on physical premise, whether it is on lake house or data lake, anywhere, it will actually traverse everywhere, and it will give the entire report where all the data is actually, where all critical data is actually lying, point number one, and how much encrypted or how much how much protected that particular information is. Instead of just using encryption or hashing, I will just use protection as a term. So how much protected? Now, suppose now I have a report. So the CISO team has got up that particular report, which has the list of around 1500 locations.
Yes.
1500 locations where the sensitive information is available. And it also has a column of percentage, which actually shows the protection percentage. If it is 100%, it is actually good. Anything beyond 100% is something that needs to be addressed. Even 99% is not accepted. It is either 1 or 0. It is something like that. So that is the second part, what I actually see, that the type of data discoverability part which we have implemented. Point 3, I would say, on the accessibility part. The accessibility also involves the governance.
Yes.
Whoever is actually having accesses, all those accesses needs to be monitored on frequent basis. And all those accesses should be linked with their IDs instead of any other thing. Suppose a system ID means if a person leaves or anything happens, if that particular ID is deactivated, it is deactivated everywhere. So such kind of common practices, what I see, what we have implemented it, I actually see this as a critical thing. And
Yes.
these principles are easy to implement. So there are many things which are actually difficult to implement, but these are easy to implement. तो easy to implement वाली चीज तो पहले ही address होनी चाहिए.
So I was talking to one person, like he belongs to a big company, MNC, and he was telling that the time we put down the papers, nothing works, like no Google, nothing, only the company portal will work.
Exactly. Everything actually links with that governance part and the accessibility part. So all these things are actually linked directly with the HR and their employee policy. But if you see, all these things are actually interconnected with each other. And these things is only possible when any organization or anyone is actually having data in single place and everything is related and standardized. Organization के अंदर if we have any gap, so all this entire ecosystem cannot work.
Yes, yes. And a single place, say next question, like data residency and sovereignty are also very critical topics these days, because the organization, how can they manage, strategically manage data location and jurisdictional, requirements which are there?
So in that case, what I have actually observed and what I have adopted is basically a hybrid approach. So we have data on cloud, which is completely protected, and there are some part of data which is on premise also. So depending upon the usage of that particular data, we have segregated this data's location into these two premises. If any data which is being used very frequently और which has been scanned very frequently, तो मुझे उसको क्लाउड पे रखने की जरूरत नहीं है, बिकॉज वो कॉन्टिन्यूस बेसिस पे वो स्कैन हो रहा है, वो यूज हो रहा है. क्लाउड विल एक्चुअली स्पाइक अप माई कॉस्ट. यहाँ पर हमने डेटा गवर्नेंस, एक्सेसिबिलिटी एंड सम पार्ट ऑफ हम कॉस्ट फैक्टर लेकर आते हैं, बिकॉज वेन एवर क्लाउड कम्स इन, द कॉस्ट इज एक्चुअली वन ऑफ द बिग फैक्टर. सो क्लाउड विल एक्चुअली गिव यू ऑल द बेनिफिट्स ऑफ governance part of any sort of data adherence part, but it may trade-offs with cost. So basis on such kind of parameters, we have followed and we are actually following up hybrid approach where we are actually storing data on two different places, on cloud and even on premise, basis on its usage.
Got it. And is that also, a problem, because even on the cloud, the data resides at different locations. Like it may be US, Europe, India.
Now what I have basically observed, so if abhi whatever locations you have talked about, okay, so if I just take an example of AWS, Amazon Web Service, तो उनके जब pricing calculator पे when I go and when I see that I want to use for one particular service for different location, for different area, I have seen the prices are actually different. So for any organization which can actually keep their data in different places, can opt for that specific region, whatever they feel comfortable and whatever they feel which is adhering to their compliance.
Yes.
But if not, single location पे आपको basically data रखना चाहिए, which is compliant. So if in terms of BFSI, what we say, we cannot use any region out of India. All the data needs to be within the Indian boundary.
Now, the next one is about audit trails and logging systems. What role do they play in ensuring accountability and trust in data operations?
I would actually say this piece is as good as mirror, which will tell you bluntly whatever you are following or whatever you are not following. And it is something similar to what I'll just give you my viewpoint. If I want to look beautiful, mirror से अच्छी चीज कोई.
Right.
In that, if I just want to compare these two things, कि अगर मुझे देखना है कि भाई मेरा डेटा कितना प्रोटेक्टेड है, कितना प्रोटेक्टेड, ऑडिट एंड दिस लॉगिंग डिटेल्स आर एक्चुअली इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर मी. मतलब वो ब्लंटली मुझे बोल देंगे कि इतनी चीज यू आर अडियरिंग, इतनी चीज यू आर नॉट अडियरिंग. आर यू 0% ब्यूटीफुल और आर यू 100% ब्यूटीफुल? मुझे तो इंश्योर करना है कि मुझे 100% रहना है.
बट सर वो भी तो बेंचमार्क पे
प्योर चलता है अपने कंप्लायंस के वो इनके ऊपर प्रिंसिपल्स पे. जो प्रिंसिपल्स है उस व्हाट it actually gives you your reflection.
थोड़ी बात करेंगे AI और मशीन लर्निंग पे, because it is also transforming BFSI, right?
Yes.
From fraud detection to credit scoring. What are the biggest impacts that you are seeing of these AI-driven analytics in the next 3-5 years?
Actually, जिस phase पे grow कर रहा है, I see 3-5 years are a longer span. वीक ऑन वीक वो चेंज कर रहा है, वीक ऑन वीक अपना बेंचमार्क बढ़ा रहा है. रियली 5 years में तो क्या होगा मुझे नहीं पता, बट in coming 6 months, so if I see the type of change which AI or ML is actually bringing in, initially मतलब वो बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहा है. Now I will give you my examples. I am, जैसे मैंने कहा कि I am a platform engineer और I am a data engineer. सिर्फ डेटा किस तरीके से रखना है, I am an architect into that piece. बट अगर कल मुझे कोई कहे कि भाई तू मुझे एक स्टैटिस्टिकल या ML algorithm मुझे लिख के दे. So that is not my forte. But with the usage of these AI services, right now I'm able to do that part. Now ये almost similar है जहाँ पर आपने मुझसे पहले BI की बात की थी. What are the BI tools? So as I told that BI tools can actually enable anyone to bring out insights out of the data. Yes. अभी वो BI tool एक very next level पे जा चुका है जो भी AI बन चुका है. Now AI is actually enabling anyone to build anything. और BFSI जैसे डोमेन में AI is actually playing very important role in each and every department. आप मार्केटिंग में वहाँ पर कंटेंट क्रिएशन हो जाता है. अब IT तो वो लॉग मॉनिटरिंग वगैरह के अंदर आ जाता है. प्रोएक्टिव अलर्ट्स दे देता है कि आपका कोई भी सिस्टम कहाँ पर जाके ब्रेक होने. If I talk about operations, it will actually give me an entire KPI metric, will actually tells me that in which area, in case if my operational KPIs are not getting met, कौन सी areas are to improve. If my operational KPIs are overmet, no need to be happy. Because of this 1 2 3 reasons, तुम्हारा operational KPI overmet हुआ है. तो गलत टारगेट मत ले लेना आगे जाके. तो AI everything इतना क्रिस्टल क्लियर चीजें बता रही है. बट इन माय एक्सपीरियंस, मैंने जो एक्सपीरियंस की जब स्टार्टिंग में हमने जब बेसिकली जब यूज करना, तो आई वाज एक्चुअली फीलिंग लाइक एआई इज एक्चुअली समथिंग लाइक मैजिक, कि ये मैं जो बोल रहा हूँ मुझे फट से करके दिया था. हाँ, बहुत अच्छी चीज है. बट स्लोली एंड स्टेडीली व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड अंडरस्टैंडिंग इट, आईटी में डेटा में एक चीज बहुत सिंपल है, डोंट रिलाई ऑन एनीथिंग एंटायरली. तो ये प्रिंसिपल मैंने हमेशा फॉलो किया है. सो वॉट एवर आउटपुट आई गेट from anyone from anywhere, I don't completely rely on it. Before giving out my requirement, I actually have 3 4 ways to cross check it. Slowly and steadily मुझे realize हुआ कि AI is in this current scenario, AI is not 100% accurate, be it any AI. इसलिए हम जो भी हम GPT की बात करो, Gemini की बात करो, Claude की बात करो, ये जो नया जो मानस आया है उसकी बात करो, एनीथिंग, सो सबके पास एक बड़ा छोटा डिस्क्लेमर है, डोंट रिलाई ऑन आवर डेटा. मतलब दो आई एम टेलिंग यू, बट डोंट रिलाई ऑन इट. So all these AI companies are actually trying to minimize those error margin. So initially, in my observation, in my experience, I have actually seen AI is 60 to 65% right. Whenever I tell this to my teammates or to my folks, agree नहीं करते. वो कहते 65%, मतलब तुम बोल रहा है कि मतलब 40% वो wrong है. मतलब मैं 10 चीज पूछ रहा हूँ तो वो तुझे 4 चीज गलत बता रहा है. No one is able to digest this part. पर ये मेरा observation है. Yes. क्यों? Because मैं उसके आउटपुट को
Exactly.
अपने बिजनेस कंटेक्स्ट, बिकॉज मुझे पता है मेरा आउटपुट ये रेंज के बीच में आना चाहिए.
Yes.
20 साल के एक्सपीरियंस में इतना तो मुझे पता चल ही गया कि AI कैन नॉट ओवर पावर मी. ये चीज है बस. ये इसकी जो डिपेंडेंसी है AI पे कंप्लीटली डिपेंडेंट होना, इट इज द बिगेस्ट रिस्क आई वुड से, मे बी विच द करंट जनरेशन मे बी डूइंग इट. आई होप दे आर नॉट डूइंग इट. अगर मैं गलत साबित हुआ तो अच्छी बात है, दे शुड एक्चुअली नॉट डू इट. बट इनकेस इफ दे आर डूइंग इट, तो वो गलत.
हाँ, तो वो फिर VCS साइकिल में गलत आउटपुट को सही मान लेंगे और फिर गलत इनपुट
और डिसीजन लेंगे.
Yes.
और डिसीजन लेंगे गलत चीज.
Yes.
फिर बोलेगा कि नहीं ये 60% एक्यूरेट है.
लास्ट क्वेश्चन है अभी
Yes,
पॉडकास्ट का कि many companies have started shifting towards data ops and automation. What do you see as the future of data engineering, especially in large scale BFSI enterprises?
So in large scale BFSI में data engineering should ideally just not focus on 2 aspects, I would say. So right, मतलब जितना data engineering मैंने देखा है in my entire tenure, so data engineering for many people or for many leaders is as good as storing data in an efficient way and accessing that data in an efficient way, जिससे जो execution time है of retrieving that particular data वो थोड़ा कम हो जाए, वो थोड़ा efficient हो. So the data engineering ideally should not rely on only these 2 aspects. Data engineering should actually encompass all the aspects of data discoverability, which is very important and which is going to be very important in coming days. Second part is the data governance. Again, जो BI tool अपने हिसाब से कर रहा है वो तो कर ही रहा है, ठीक है. But if any people is actually having access to your tables directly, it is very important कि आप वो restrictions रखो. Just to adding one example on this particular part. Now, if I am having a particular table in my ecosystem, okay, जिसके अंदर I am having some 15 20 columns, you are someone who want to take that access of my table और आपको उसमें से 4 column की जरूरत है. In today's ecosystem, what I will do, I will give you access of that particular table, but you will be able to access all those 25 columns. How should I restrict your access only to that 4 columns? What has been required by you. So row level access तो हम करते ही है basis on ID, but even column level accesses are also important. So ये जो accessibility है, this is also very important. And the third part is basically the data governance. ये तीन aspects plus efficiency will actually will be the entire principles of data engineering in coming future.
And this was very insightful. This column level thing was,
नहीं, because ये वाली चीज हम अभी मतलब ये चीज पढ़ते 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 हमने देखा है कि ऐसी चीज भी होती है, अगर होती है थोड़ा कंट्रोल हम हमारे पास भी रखेंगे।
और यही तो है ना सर, ये ऑब्जर्वेशन ह्यूमंस ही कर सकते हैं,
AI नहीं कर सकता।
Thank you so much, Prashant, for joining us. It was an insightful discussion, and we are again grateful to be hosting you. We'll be in touch.
I am very much thankful, Rishikesh. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, bye bye.